Hi Nikita, and welcome to Quick Eyes. And thanks for taking our time. I know you are super busy, and because I think we shifted this thing about twice, thrice, तीन बार किया था, I think, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, yes, yes. You were making me feel embarrassed by saying that.
No, no, no. I
I
was
don't know.
making you feel special that I was making you feel special that I didn't said you no even once.
No, I hope this audience, the people who are going to watch this video, includes my bosses, so that they get to realize that yes, I'm really, really, really packed.
Okay, अच्छा, that's why
Nevertheless,
you were doing it.
no, no, no. I think
Okay.
yes, when you're part of the corporate industry, certainly it's lot of pre-commitments and all that stuff. So I think yeah, but I'm glad that I'm coming live with you to share my experiences and a lot more other things. So I think yeah, that's a great opportunity for me as well. The good part is that I came into this industry without having any approach or having any, some people referring me this kind of a trade. No, it didn't happen. I think being an optometrist, so I'm an optometrist by profession, and I pursued my optometry in 2010. So from then, I remember that. Optometry is one of the career which is never a chosen career. It's always a kind of an accident, though a fortunate one, a very fortunate accident, and I'm very happy that this accident I met with this accident in specific. It came more to me because I wanted to do something which is more unique and something which has a professional touch. Of course, belonging from a paramedical background, we have a lot of options to choose from. One of them, of course, was optometry. So for me, choosing optometry was for sure something which was not planned. I do not belong to this trade. I don't have any relative or my friend who was part of this optical trade before. So optometry itself was like one of the word which was very hard for firstly my family to pronounce it. I think that happens with everyone that anyone who chooses optometry पहले के एक दो साल दो तीन साल तो यही समझाने में निकल जाते हैं कि ये ऑप्टोमेट्री है क्या होता है हाउ इट इज डिफरेंट फ्रॉम ऑप्टिशियंस and how it is different from ophthalmology. So I think the journey has been very evolving from that point of thing. But definitely, I never had this choice to do optometry. But yes, I remember when I was starting my career, I actually happened to look some of the career options in Hindustan Times at that time. We used to have that nice booklet from HT that used to come in, which used to have all the top 100 careers available, and out of which optometry was one of the option. Something to do with eye care and eyewear, which I felt that has a bigger reach and audience. I think there are a lot of people today also who know that they have got the refractive error, but then yet not wearing the correction. I think that's something that really enticed me, showing me the bigger side of the business. So yeah, that's the case with me. Fortunate accident.
Okay. So you were from Delhi only or somewhere else?
No, I was from Delhi, so I have been born and brought up in Delhi. My family, my parents, in fact, are from Delhi, and so I did my optometry, in fact, from Delhi only. Yeah.
Okay. Which place?
So I did pursue my optometry from Institute along with collaboration with Jamia, and I completed my bachelor's of optometry. Post that, I was keen to move into more of the corporate side of the industry. Thereby, I further pursued the MBA. So yeah, masters was never the plan for me. I prefer to come into the retail side of the business at the very first.
Okay. And then you started your career with SLR or Zeiss, if I'm not wrong.
So, as like any other optometrist, I also started my journey as being a clinical optometrist at Noida ICARE. I used to work over there as a clinical optometrist. That was for a very small stint. I think it was like an year or so. Post that, I started working with SLR. I was fortunate enough to get an entry into the corporate industry at a very early age, of my life. Again, certain things were never planned. So interview was such that it happened just by accident, and I got selected. And yeah, so that took me to an area of dispensing, which was something which I always wanted to learn.
Okay. So how was your experience there? Because coming from clinical and then going into corporate, visiting optical stores and all.
Certainly, when I was getting interviewed at SLR, every person who was interviewing me, all the VPs, all the business heads, even the HR, they were asking, lot of optometric question, like the HR in fact was asking questions related to uveitis. So first at for me was like, oh my god, wherever I entered यहाँ पे HR भी इतने educated है. And then when I started meeting the business people like the VPs and all, I got to interact with Sanjay Tiwari. So that time he interviewed me, and I remember his only word that you were so young. I was what, like 23, 22, 23 that time, and I was so young to get into the optical trade. So he used to tell me कि जितना तुम्हारा एज नहीं है उससे ज्यादा एक्सपीरियंस के लोग ऑप्टिकल ट्रेड में तुम्हें मिलेंगे, तुम कैसे उनको ट्रेन करोगे, कैसे टीच करोगे, कैसे प्रीच करोगे. So yeah, it was like that, but I was very clear that dispensing has been one subject. In optometry colleges, when you see the kind of the dispensing which is being taught is way too different from the real time industry dispensing. So I wanted to get more market ready. I wanted to face something which I've never faced. So that all happened, and then with the experience, with the kind of the exposure that we used to have, it was never an office job for sure, and it was always like you have to travel across the city. Sometimes in metro, you're just roaming around in autos and all that. So it was like it was very interesting because all the things that we were doing day on day was something that we never ever read in our optometry books. तो किताबों में जो ऑप्टोमेट्री पढ़ी थी वर्सेस रियल टाइम में जो हम ऑप्टोमेट्री अप्लाई कर रहे थे, दैट वाज वे टू डिफरेंट. एंड having said that, dispensing, as I mentioned, was one of the subject which was very very interesting and very vast, जो आई थिंक कहीं ना कहीं ऑप्टोमेट्री करिकुलम में अभी भी उसके ऊपर उतना फोकस नहीं किया जाता, जिसकी वजह से वो एक एरिया है जहाँ पे हम कहीं ना कहीं लैग करते हैं. तो आई थिंक दैट स्टिंट ऑफ नेक्स्ट 3 years when I worked with SLR and then next with Zeiss, I learned so much upon dispensing. I did a lot of troubleshoots. I got to have experience to do a lot of trainings for different people. And ophthalmic lens industry itself is such a big topic. It seems to be like a piece of plastic, but then it has so many integrities and to talk upon. And having said that, when you are interacting with the most experienced and the seasoned set of the opticians in the trade, you get to learn so much. There were times when in the usual calls, जब आप calls करने जाते थे एक दिन में कम से कम 5 से 6 ऑप्टिशियन से आप मिल रहे होते थे. Not every time you are discussing only optometry and dispensing. Sometimes you are just getting a lot of information from their side. Sometimes you are also sharing the information to help them evolve their business. I think when you work as part of the corporate industry, your job becomes more like to help the optician to grow in their business. तो बहुत बार होता था कि हम एक ऑप्टिशियन को हेल्प करते थे कि सर आप ये ऐसे कर लो, ये ऐसे कर लो, यहाँ पे आईटिस इंक्रीज कर लो, या इस तरह से प्रमोशन कर लो तो आपका प्रोग्रेसिव बढ़ जाएगा, आपका रेवेन्यू बढ़ जाएगा. तो जो एक बिजनेस एक्यूमेंट डेवलप होता गया, अननोइंगली जो एक बिजनेस एक्यूमेंट डेवलप होता गया, आई थिंक दैट इटसेल्फ वाज समथिंग व्हिच वाज वे टू फिनोमिनल. एंड आई थिंक आई थैंक my family and my all my colleagues over there around at that moment of time, because they made me a totally a different human. फ्रॉम अ क्लिनिकल ऑप्टॉम जो वाइट एप्रन पहन के हम लोग सिर्फ आई टेस्ट करते थे, पेशेंट डील करते थे, फ्रॉम दैट पेशेंट टू कस्टमर जर्नी जो एक एवोल्यूशन हमने एक्सपीरियंस करा है, दैट इज enormous. And I still say that learning of meeting so many opticians, like the way you mentioned कि हम सिर्फ optical stores पे visit करते थे, तो I think that experience itself gave me an exposure to visit more than 1,000 optical stores across India. Even in my today's trainings and experience, and whensoever I sit in a meeting, I think I keep on sharing so many of my best practices, whatever that I learned from those optical stores and opticians. So I think I definitely thank that I chose from moving from a clinical background to a retail industry.
Okay, and after that you joined Zeiss. So what difference did you found in SLR and in Zeiss? I'm sure कुछ तो होगा, and give a very transparent answer, not a very diplomatic one, at least for this.
I think both the companies have their own set of perks and benefits. I got to recently got to be a part of the international expo that happened at Noida, and I got to meet all of my ex mentors from SLR and Zeiss. And one thing I have seen is, number one, the kind of the business acumen that I got from SLR, luckily, because SLR was much more bigger and much more renowned and much more famous as being the world's biggest optical lens manufacturer. So the exposure and learning the business side of it, I remember we were being taught so much upon numbers and figures, and an optometry person bringing to an entrepreneurship mindset, something that transition was something that I learned, I think, the best with SLR. So I think that was the great part with SLR. But there was one side of me which was to do with trainings and which was to do with the professional services kind of an experience, which I was lacking certainly because I didn't used to attend a lot bigger audience at once. So luckily, fortunately, when I moved to Zeiss, my role was primarily more towards training in specific. So I got to experience a lot more training methodology, because we sometimes think that training is only about doing a presentation format training, where in Zeiss I think I learned so many methodologies which was beyond PowerPoint presentation. So I think I became a blend of a right training come salesperson from both the companies. And that's something that I'm being very transparent and proud about. So both the companies have really added and inculcated something different that I never read in my optometry.
Great, great. So, and now you are with Lenskart. So, how is that? I'm sure that would be like another world altogether.
Yes, it is. I have pretty good experience in the B2B channel side of the business, and certainly I felt that because I never worked with any of the optical retail at my own. So 4 years, 5 years back, I decided that now I think I've got enough exposure of the B2B channel. Let me now move on to the other side of the table and understand that how the consumers can be served in a better manner. So I think. Yes, starting my journey with Lenskart almost 2 years back now, I think one of the great things that I have seen is that B2C channel is very, very different. It's of course it's customer oriented, so you have to have a very key value embedded in yourself, which is around customer obsession. You have to be obsessed with customers. So at Lenskart, I think a lot more energy came into me because I was, of course, working with one of the most fast-paced companies. So lot of new things, lot of new technologies, lot of new marketing, a lot of new tactics came into my life and my professional life in specific, which helped me grow even to a better professional now. So I think yes, the transition has been phenomenal.
Can you share some of your best practices which you do in Lenskart, which were not done anywhere else, or you would not have heard of that? Well, I'm sure those guys would be doing many much innovative stuff, which of course opticians or B2B companies are not doing it.
Yeah, I think so. The good part with Lenskart is that Lenskart has always done things which were never there in the trade available. Okay, it has always come up with, whether you talk upon any of the marketing offer, any of the consumer offer, whether you talk upon the product portfolio pitching, whether you talk upon any of the digital side of the business. I think one good thing that I've learned with Lenskart is the way with which we have a count of more than 1,450 stores in India, and now we of course also have the global footprint. So, incorporating the right SOPs in place, making sure that the uniformity of the eye test, of the dispensing experience remains the same throughout. I think that itself comes from a very strong SOP, adherence. So following those SOP again cannot be possible when you do not have the right technology in place. So one of the great things that I have seen with Lenskart is the way we deal with the daily SOPs. How the store is functioning. How do we make sure that every store member does discuss their performance? How do we make sure that the huddle at the store is happening in the right way? How do we make sure that beyond the performance discussion, we also discuss upon what is going bad as per the customer feedback? So I think one of the key thing which we work at Lenskart is around NPS, which is the Net Promoter Score, which is the most important KPI primarily that we focus upon, which is a very consumer centric matrix with which we make sure that whosoever customers that we are dealing and serving with their respective feedback, we can grow up better. So every time we discuss upon any of the innovations, any new technology, any new SOP, I think we have a great habit to always look back that what went bad, how can we improve over there. And then I think also it's very important that you keep on measuring those things. So one of the great thing with Lenskart is definitely that we have quite a lot focus on KPIs in specific, and I love this word, and I think it has now got in my blood. So doing certain things and then not measuring it in the right way, I think can really lead to a lot of failure. So the way Lenskart is growing is only because we keep tracking it, we keep monitoring it, we make sure that we collaboratively work on different strategies and different ideas. And the good part with Lenskart is it's always flooded with a lot of young minds in place, whether you talk about the stores or whether you talk about the corporates. I think there are a lot of people who are very youngster. So this company is pretty much welcoming to the young faces, the young minds, and they make sure that whosoever people are coming into the system, they are adding their new thoughts in. Having said that, equal responsibility is there for the people who come from the optical trade. So I think the company is very much welcoming to also welcome the facts which are the best practices in the existing optical trade. So I think it's a blend of the two things that happens hand in hand, which has made sure that Lenskart keeps on growing. And I think now with Lenskart growing into the global world, we are also learning so many other things. So I think with respect to the innovations in technologies, I think we have pretty good consumer centric systems available. We do not believe anything which is like paper like. So we are very much digital. I think the big focus of Lenskart today, you test it at anywhere. For example, when it comes to the eye test also, we don't have a concept of giving a prescription card, a handwritten prescription card to a customer. We have Lenskart application for every customer, where automatically digitally the prescription gets saved to the customer wallet, and they need not to carry their prescriptions in their hand. And I mean, they can access their prescription any moment of time that they want. So I think the digital orientation of the company for making it very easy for a consumer with respect to eye testing, with respect to even punching an order. Having said that, we have a very beautiful omni channel available. So it's not only that we are serving our customers via Lenskart stores. We have a beautiful setup, which is our customer happiness and the pre-sales department, which makes on also serving the customers who are just searching the orders, right? And also we also have a dedicated division which is the home try on. So there are some people who may not be able to come to the store, but they still want to get served. So I think home try on is one service where we constantly make sure that we serve more and more eyes. So I think that collaboration of that technology and the good marketing is really leading to different innovations in technology every time.
You also have been looking after Lenskart Academy, yeah?
No, so
And
I
what?
was a part of Lenskart Academy almost 7-8 months back, but recently I've got my transition to the Lenskart Professional Services channel, which is more bigger because we have almost a team of 110 professional services cluster optometrists who are constantly, just revolving and making sure and evolving the business in a different and a better way. So I think professional services at Lenskart is very much a bigger function for us because we have primarily a lot more KPI driven things available with us. As I said that our training is all incomplete until you can't measure it into something. So the beauty of professional services is that when we deliver something, when we preach something, when we teach something, we immediately can track it in our numbers and we measure it. So that really helps us to see whether we are going in the right direction or whether we need to improve, in our own way. So that's there.
Other, otherwise, what is Lenskart Academy? Is it like a proper course or something which they teach for three, four,
So
6 months?
Lenskart
Or
Academy, yeah. So Lenskart Academy is one of our company initiative to actually, inculcate the right market readiness in any of the person who wants to join Lenskart. So let's say any person who wants to join Lenskart, they may or they may not be belonging from the optical trade. Okay, and of course, we also have a huge workforce of optometrists. So there are a lot of new and fresher optometrists which keeps on coming in. We need to train them upon the uniformity that we expect them to deliver at the store. So Lenskart Academy is one of the big time channel that we have got in place, which makes sure that the communication with respect to the products, the process, the prices, whatever communication is around the company, itself is all uniform, and that can only happen when you gather all people at one single place. So Lenskart Academy serves to be that place for them, number one. Number two, it also makes them a lot more market ready. So at Lenskart Academy, we don't only train them by making them sit in a classroom, but we also have a very beautiful OJT process available. So with also, which also gives them the real time experience that when they are going to handle the customer, how and what needs to be done better. So that real time exposure is something which makes them more market ready. Having said that, the third and most important point with Lenskart Academy is that it's not only about training them upon the optical and the optometry side of the business. It's also making sure that we're upskilling them with the best of the best services. So, for example, we have a lot more courses inbuilt which are to do with personality development, which are to do with the soft skills, which are to do with making them dispense products better. So I think it's a collative, a kind of a place which is making sure that whosoever person is passing out, of course, these are our own employees. So we don't do courses for any other person apart from our own employees. For all divisions, apart from the offline business, anyone who's joining the home try-on business, anyone who's joining the customer happiness team, so they all get inducted, they all get trained at one single place. We have something which is known as NHT, which is the new hire training program, which is almost a month, 30 days of program, which transforms people coming with no optometry and no optical background to a totally different person who can serve the customers to the best level.
So you also find this problem of getting optometrists hired and all, because opticians these days find a lot of problem getting the right fit of optometrist or even salespersons for their store. So do you also get, or because of Lenskart it's not that difficult for you guys?
I don't know why people perceive that, but we have a workforce of 3,500 plus optometrists working at our Lenskart offline stores. Yeah, this number seems to be big, but then I think this number is still smaller and much lesser as to what our need is. We need at least, I think, 5,000 and above optometrists. So we keep on hiring, and finding the right talent, definitely it's equally a challenge, equally a bigger challenge for all of us, because the way Lenskart is expanding, we open almost 50 stores a month. So because of which, of course, you have to make sure that you have to be ready by the time the store is coming. You have to train the person also before in hand. So hiring the right talent in place, that also is one of the crack that we keep on filling up. And also it's important to make sure that whosoever optometrists are there, because you have a very bigger workforce available with you, so you also have to make sure that whosoever people are working with you are also happy, right? So I think both ways, in getting more references for optometrist is something that we deal with, and also very importantly to maintain the right attrition in the company so that people don't leave you is also something that we constantly focus upon. As part of the professional services team, in fact, that is one of the KPI that I handle, which is around manpower. So how do we make sure that more referrals are coming for the optometrists, and how do we make sure that more optometrists, whosoever are there in the system, they are happy? So that's exactly what our job is, and we do quite a lot of things to make sure that it works out.
Okay, great, great. I'm sure this is the toughest part for
It
you.
is. It is. But I think the way company is dealing with such kind of unique initiations, I really want to share a couple of things. For in fact, I when I was not part of Lenskart, I was not knowing that what all initiatives are available with Lenskart. But now, fortunately, when I'm working for the brand, I know that apart from regular salaries and incentives, there are much more bigger and better things which the company is helping with. For example, whosoever people are working with Lenskart, we have a program which is known as Upscale Program. So Upscale Program really helps the diploma optoms to who can further pursue their bachelor's while working with the company, so they can learn while they're earning. Also, the people who are the bachelor's optometrists, they can upscale their knowledge to become a master's optometrist. So we have a course of Upscale Program where we enable this kind of a feature for whosoever optometrists are working for us. That really helps to upscale the knowledge of the people who are working with us, and also the motivation builds up, because a lot of people today want to leave the organization thinking that they want to further pursue their education. So I think the good enablement from the company side is that really they are helping the person to grow in their optometry career. That's one. The another important beautiful thing is that Lenskart really promotes a lot of internal promotion. So we have something which is known as lead program. So lead program is where we actually give the opportunity for a sales associate to become a store manager, or from an optometrist to a cluster optometrist, right? So they have a 6 months program, 6 months lead program, where they undergo the upliftment and the enablement and the whatever knowledge and sources that they need. We constantly help them to grow in that entire journey of 6 months, and then there's a specific panel which decides that whether they complete that evaluation or not, and then immediately they can move to a different part of their ladder. So that is something which is very very unique, and you will get to see a lot of people like today. More than I think 70-80% people whosoever are there at the bigger roles, they all are internally promoted at Lenskart. So that's something which is very unique with the brand. Along with that, I think as I mentioned, that Lenskart is very much digital. So digital also ends up with a great learning system. So we have beautiful learning management systems available, which are the online options to cascade the modules and the training informations to them. So we have all sort of learning available in the most digital manner. So I think the way Lenskart is driving optometry in the most possible elaborative way to make sure that the optometrist does get all the best possible facilities which can really help them to grow as in career in their career ladder, and more importantly as an optometrist, if someone is very keen to grow up to their optometry practices in specific, so we have dedicated setups where we also make that happen. So yes, that's very interesting. I think the whole concept lies in the fact you will never have the right fit. Okay, I think that's a key message that I really want to give over here is that you will never get the right fit. People will always come up with some miss of the information, and you'll always have to help them grow in their knowledge. And I think that can only help with the of continuous learning that you do for them. It's not only about making them learn the optometry in specific as a subject, but dispensing, handling customers, learning more innovations, and maybe developing more innovations. So that altogether comes in when you help as an organization to the person who are working for you. So I think definitely people are never the right fit. You have to make them the right fit, right? You have to invest in them, and investment only doesn't come with just investing in money, but there are lot more initiations that can be done from any organization to build a person to a better level. So I think definitely I think this thought of just searching for a right fit will always be a problem. Rather than we should find more initiatives with which we can help any person to upscale and upskill themselves.
Great, great. So, I think you shared a lot of stuff. So, if there's anything you want to share for optometrists, or any kind of feedback, or anything which you think that once an optometrist pass out, then he should definitely do this XYZ thing, or even during the course when he's studying, then he should take care of these all things so that he becomes the right fit even for the market when he goes there looking for job.
I think I have spent more than 10 years in the optical trade after I completed my, optometry. So far, I've learned only one thing that, when, as an optometrist, when you're there in your optometry colleges, you get to, of course, learn a lot around clinical side of the optometry, which is fantastic, which is always needed. And that's always going to serve as one of the backbone, further in when you handle customers or patients. But I think equally, one optimist should also foresee that what are the things that can really make them market ready. Today, what the biggest gap, what I personally see and what we all see around is that many optometrists do not want to come into retail. They all just think that retail optometry is only about selling a product. You are just standing on the floor and you're just selling a product. No, it's not the case. I think the beauty of retail industry is that it makes you market ready. Literally, it makes you market ready in many things. You get to learn about cash management, you get to learn about inventory management, you get to learn about dispensing, you get to learn about customers. I think which is one of the experiences which you will never ever get in any other trade. So optometry being such a small fraternity though, but then having such a vast experience from a very young age is something that you can just own from this industry. And I think that is one of the great area where you can also look forward to become an entrepreneur. I have seen a lot of optometrists who are pursuing optometry because they someday they want to open up their own optical store. Okay, I'm not the one though, but I've got to see a lot of people who think this. And if you think this, then I think retail is just the right place for you, because the entrepreneur mindset, can only come in when you actually handle customers. The real time optometry, the dispensing can only be utilized when you start dealing with people, when you dispense them a pair. I think that itself is such a beauty. So the loving factor towards retail is something which is today, I think, missing in the optometry, as a subject. And I think that that starts right from the optometry colleges. That's why we also do a lot of workshops with the optometry colleges today, because we want to make sure that that love and that affection for retail optometry and dispensing rights, starts then and there. So I think loving the retail side of optometry is definitely one of the great opportunity area of opportunity where we can do a lot. Also, I think it's okay. It's absolutely fine to be towards KPIs. I see a lot of people having a lot of issues that why numbers. I mean, I'm a clinical optometrist. I've done so much of effort in handling patients, and I was like so respected. I was respected. People presume that retail optometry or retail industry doesn't give you the respect. No, that's absolutely wrong. I have myself handled so many customers that they really look forward to have a very good insight upon eyewear. And I think when it comes to eyewear, who better than an optometrist can suggest just the right frame, just the right lenses. So I think respect is all there. It's just that you have to build it. You can build it maybe with a great eye test, maybe with a great dispensing, maybe with a great insight upon what can be just the right product for the customer or not. Everywhere it's there. It's just have to come in here. So respect is
Correct.
equally there with the retail industry, no matter what. If you don't wear a white apron or not, that I don't think that white apron is the only thing which does bring a lot of respect. No, I think it's
True,
about
true.
your skill. It's about how you deal with your customers. What do you interact with? What is the information that you impart to them? If you communicate just the right way, I think a lot can be changed at that point of time. So I think, yeah, that's one of the key messages that I would like to give to all the optometrists. I mean, you can start loving numbers, you can start loving retail more, and trust me, it is going to give you bigger and better things in the future.
For sure. But I think this is something which people want from long time, but I'm not sure it is happening or not. Do you think that colleges have now started adapting to this kind of curriculum in which they share about inventory retail side of the industry also? Because if I am not wrong, 5-6 साल पहले तो नहीं होता था ये. But since I am sure you guys would be going to colleges and all, do you see this change happening?
I think yes, slowly and gradually, but yes, not as a part of the subject, as in specific. The optometry subjects are still the same in the optometry colleges, but I think the way the collaboration the universities are doing with the retail, retail companies like Lenskart for that matter, we do a lot of internship programs. So previously, it was always just like an optometrist can only pursue their internship in some clinical place. Now there are a lot
Right.
of universities which are coming up for tie-up for their retail internship as well. And we also have a lot of interns with us. And when they come into the system of, they have to do everything as part of the floor. They are supposed to do the cash management and the inventory management, and they have to handle customers. So I think slowly and gradually some evolution is happening, but I think it can still be built a little more better from the first year of this optometry itself. And I think the way optometry colleges and universities, the students have now started coming to, in fact, facilities, the visits of the manufacturing setups of the frames and the lenses also entices people. So I think that there's something that can be done on the bigger side from the universities and the colleges, that they make these kind of workshops not only in the timeline of internship, but also available for a first year or a second year student as well. So yeah.
Great insights, Nikita, from your end. I think I have some rapid fire question. Normally ये ना मैं ना भूल जाता हूँ. आज इसलिए मैंने लिख के रखे हैं. Normally किसी के साथ भी podcast करता हूँ मुझे याद नहीं रहता. So I go so much in the flow itself. इसलिए आज मैंने लिख के रखा है, मैं कहीं पूछना जरूर है, आई शुड नॉट लीव इट
ये तो
कहीं देन
मतलब
आई।
वाइवा की जा रहा है। ऑप्टोमेट्री कॉलेजेस के अंदर वाइवा होते थे ना, रैपिड फायर वाले, बजर
ये
दबाना
तो नॉर्मल नॉर्मल वाला है, वैसे भी तुमने आंसर सारे बड़े डिप्लोमेटिक दिए, कुछ मसाला वैसे भी नहीं मिला मुझे।
है। ऑलराइट, ओके, शूट ऑन।
So, when was the last time you saw a movie on in theater,
Okay.
and which movie was that?
I think it was this movie Bhool Bhulaiya 2, and I
Oh,
don't
it's
remember
very old.
whensoever
Oh,
it was. I don't remember. Maybe an year, I think, more than that. Yeah.
almost, I think more than a year.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and any movie, latest series or something you saw on OTT?
Yeah, I watched a series which was on Netflix, which was around this famous journalist. I don't remember the name of the series in
Hindi,
specific.
English?
Hindi only, yeah. I don't remember the name, honestly. I'm not a big
अच्छा,
time fan
तुमने-
of Netflix, though.
अच्छा.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you prefer theaters or OTT? या टाइम ही नहीं होता since you are in Lenskart.
It depends. It depends. I think I do prefer theaters, but it's just that I think COVID and all has really made that touch out of. But yes, I prefer theaters over OTT.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure you must have met Peyush often, but if you meet now, what is one thing that you will be asking him to do to make life better for optometrist?
I think he's kind enough. He really he's one of so he's actually the chief people officer, at our brand. So he keeps on doing a lot of town halls, and he keeps on interacting with the people on the floor. So I think a lot of initiatives have been always driven by Piyush for the company. But the next time that I look forward to meet to him, and I would definitely speak upon that how can we make the optometrist stay in the company with better opportunities tomorrow, maybe because of the global expansion that we have. So how do we look forward to also give the same opportunities to our optometrists for the overseas industry? So I think, yeah, that's my area that definitely I want to see all the optometrists growing.
So great, Nikita. Thanks, Nikita, for taking out time. I wasn't sure if you would be ready to do this. If you asked me, it was more like a cold message I sent to you just to check if you would be interested. But
Okay.
thanks for taking out time. And if we are around, we will definitely catch up.
Okay, done. All right. Thanks, Sachin. It was great.
Thanks, Nikita. Bye. Thank
Bye.
you. And I hope you get 1500 more within next 2 3 months.
Yeah, sure. We're waiting for that. Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Bye.